Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the other side of the corner. Welcome to your latest Chelsea news. Wow. Yeah, I don't know how to react to this one. This is a very, very interesting situation, ladies and gentlemen. Enzo Maresca apparently has hired a new agency. He is now being represented by a super agent. And we all know him by the name of Jorge Mendes. This is the latest news. And this is probably the biggest news for today. There are other bits and bobs that we're going to go through and we're going to talk about. But this, for me, off the back of in recent times, Maresca being linked to Juventus, there seems to be a little bit of question mark around Enzo Maresca's future. This isn't like the Caicedo situation. Caicedo has always, publicly actually has shown the admiration of being with Chelsea Football Club, wanting to build a legacy here, wanting to pretty much finish off his career at Chelsea Football Club. He really loves being at Chelsea, and he's recently obviously let go of Ali Barad, and he wants to be represented by his own family. But there doesn't seem to be much issues. They're talking about a new contract, and hopefully Caicedo takes care of that. And in the future, there shouldn't be any dramas. But with Enzo Maresca, it's a little bit different. Enzo Maresca, he accepted the Chelsea job, 12 months ago. Tad bit more than 12 months ago now. He's had one season here. He knows the situation at Chelsea Football Club. He knows, excuse me, he knows exactly what he was getting into at Chelsea Football Club. The sporting directors, the owners, they gave him, the project, youth, development, this, that, the other. And then, of course, off the back of that, he's now seen some success in the likes of Conference League, in the likes of Club World Cup. And maybe Enzo Maresca starting to think, I'm more than just a development manager. I want to do a little bit more. Then we've recently heard the rumors with Juventus. Obviously, prior to that, in the summer window, Enzo Maresca wanted certain players, most notably a CB, off the back of Levi Colwill being injured. We all know, it's well documented. It's all been presented on all over media that Enzo Maresca wanted another CB. He definitely wanted another goalkeeper. So is he entirely happy at Chelsea Football Club? Maybe he is. Maybe he is happy, but at the same time, he's thinking, yeah, I'm more than just a development manager. I'm now there to compete and win trophies, important trophies on a regular basis. So check this out. Chelsea manager Enzo Maresca has joined Jorge Mendes' agency, Gestifute, according to Portugal's Mais Futebol, coming from Sports Witness. I mean, I don't see any reason why this news would be fake news. These sort of things, you wouldn't want to just put something fake out there. Enzo Maresca, I'm not at the same time completely shocked or surprised, because we've seen the rumors of Juventus. Now he's pivoting towards super agent, Jorge Mendes, who's very notorious in moving his players around, on a regular basis. If you look at the list of players, managers, whoever that he has under his agency, there's some absolute superstars, and he generally gets them to move to high-profile places. So is this an initial indication that Enzo Maresca is potentially thinking about the future, that, hey, it might not be at Chelsea Football Club. It might be somewhere where he wants to win trophies on a regular basis. So, look, interesting situation. I just hope that this doesn't create any sort of problems within the Chelsea camp. I hope Enzo Maresca can stay very focused, because now that the international break is over and we're moving into the next phase of football, we've got some tasty fixtures lined up and we need to win. I need everyone locked in, and that includes Enzo Maresca at the top of the table, basically top of the tree. Enzo Maresca needs to be completely focused. Enzo Maresca has a big task ahead of him to win majority of these fixtures that are coming up and really put us in a position to compete for the Premier League title and compete in the Champions League as well. So, of course, the players need to lock in, but all these type of rumors, they create a little bit of imbalance at times. They create a little bit of, nonsense situation. So I just hope all of that doesn't happen. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts. Enzo Maresca lining himself up to be under super agent Jorge Mendes, who we know this man is capable of bringing those big moves. So let me know your thoughts. Next up, Joe Cole. I think losing Levi Colwill just before the season started was massive. You know, when centre halves, you look at them and you go, they've got that level. They get it. Yeah, 100%, man. Look, missing Levi Colwill from the start of this season was definitely detrimental. Levi Colwill for 6 games, I thought he was there. Now he's going to be top, so that was a big blow, and not replacing him is a massive blow. Yeah, look, and this is one of the big reasons why Enzo Maresca is probably a little bit unhappy, a little bit frustrated, because Levi Colwill, he was starting to play some magnificent football. He was starting to develop into a really monstrous defender. In the final third of the in the Premier League and then the Conference League, he came on and he really changed the game around. Our passing, our build-up started to look a lot better in the second half against Real Betis, and then obviously we saw the kind of tournament Levi Colwill had in the Club World Cup, absolutely pivotal to our success. So, not having him, huge miss. You best believe if Levi Colwill was available from the start of this season, there's a lot of games that we probably would have not conceded, and in fact would have gone ahead and scored. He's a big factor, not just from a defensive standpoint where he was growing. Don't forget, last season, large portion, there was a lot of times he was stuffing up, but he eradicated all of that. But also his ball playing ability gives us that edge, building up from the back and really have an explosive build up and take the game to the opposition. So all of that is missing, and large parts of the fan base wanted Levi Colwill to be replaced due to his injuries, and along with Enzo Maresca, but not to be. It didn't happen, and maybe we did miss out on a trick there. Now, look, even though we have a lot of defenders, we have to find a solution, of course, but I feel like maybe we just missed a trick to bring in someone quality. But then again, it's tough. I get it. It's not easy to just go in the market and bring someone that can do that specific role. It's not just about bringing another defender. It's about doing the specific role that Levi Colwill does. Sometimes it is very, very difficult, and you don't want to rush into the market and just buy someone willy-nilly, and then eventually it doesn't work out and it ends up being a flop, and then it's a problem for this ownership in terms of financial situation. So in one hand, I understand. In another hand, I also get why the frustration is there that we haven't replaced him. It's a tough one. The problem is the injury really ruined that situation. Now, next up, Enzo Fernandez, ladies and gentlemen, withdrew from international duty due to inflammation of the knee, according to the Argentine FA. We all know this off the back of news that came out a few days ago, 3-4 days ago. However, it is understood that the midfielder had always planned to miss the friendly match with Puerto Rico this week and had planned to see family during his leave, which is fantastic. Look, I don't think I've seen Enzo Fernandez's pictures in the recent training, pictures that have been released, the videos that have been released. Maybe I'll have a quick look if he's still, there in any of the pictures. But it's good. It's good he had a break. No need to play against Puerto Rico. Good he went and spent some time with family. It'll help all of these players, not just Enzo Fernandez, all of these players to revitalize and rejuvenate themselves with these fixtures coming up. I don't want any excuses. I think a lot of these players got a decent little bit of break in this international break, and it's going to go a long way. They should feel re-energized, and hopefully the same goes with Enzo Fernandez. And it's a good move that Chelsea Football Club and Argentinian Football Association both came to an agreement that he'll miss. It was a planned miss against Puerto Rico. Yes, there is some inflammation, and hopefully all that inflammation is gone away from his knee, because we need Enzo Fernandez to play as well in these upcoming fixtures. So hopefully he can deliver for us. Next up, the feeling is that Nottingham Forest game against Chelsea, or the outcome of it, could have a decisive influence on Ange Postecoglou's future. First of all, I'm so grateful that Nottingham Forest didn't make any changes during this international break. I think that would have been a bit of a problem for us moving into that fixture against Nottingham Forest, that a new manager, potentially a bounce, and there could be a sense of wanting to really fight. But I feel beautiful that Ange Postecoglou is still there, and I feel like the players they've given up on Ange Postecoglou. I'll be shocked if they produce a really good performance. So it's very good news. It almost feels like Yes, this is his last match. All it will take is Chelsea to beat them, and then that is the end of Ange Postecoglou, who hasn't won a single game for Nottingham Forest as yet. I think he's been in charge for 7 games or something like that, or 9, I can't remember, but there's been 2 draws and the rest of them losses. It doesn't seem like it's working. It doesn't seem like he's getting through to the players, and it feels like a complete mismatch. This is a classic case where the owners, honestly, they've screwed up. But a lot of the Forest fans are saying that Nuno needed to leave. He wasn't getting along, so his sacking was also justified. But was Ange Postecoglou's appointment justified? I don't know. Maybe not. Looks like, hindsight now. But having said all of that, there is a large part of the Nottingham Forest fan base now wanting Ange Postecoglou to stay, because the manager that is lined up after him is Sean Dyche, and they don't want anything to do with Sean Dyche. I mean, it's crazy. Nuno, Postecoglou, Sean Dyche. I mean, Nottingham Forest just imploded. They really absolutely imploded from one stage last season, potentially competing in the Premier League title race. They were the closest to Liverpool, qualifying for the Europa League. And now all of a sudden they're in the relegation battle. So they don't want Sean Dyche. This is why a large portion of the fan base might be really cheering on for Ange Postecoglou in this match coming up against Chelsea. But we got to take care of business. We really got to take care of business and make sure that we get the 3 points against Nottingham Forest. But ultimately, it will be down to the mood of Evangelos Marinakis. Look, I feel if we beat Nottingham Forest, which we should, not if, we really should be beating Nottingham Forest. They're looking not the same Nottingham Forest as last season. Then I think this man will be sacked straight after. Now, let's have a look at the latest video to see who's back and who's not. We'll start from the top. Here we go. Caicedo, good to see him back. Looks like he's refreshed. Estava Willian, Malagusto, Romeo Lavia. Who else was there? Someone in the background. I think that might have been Wesley Fofana. Romeo Lavia, good to see him as well. Pedro Neto, I think that was Tosin Achapong. Yeah, good. Cucurella. A lot of these players back, João Pedro. They look like they're refreshed. They really do look like they are refreshed, and I can't wait. Honestly, I cannot wait. I feel like we're gonna go on a bit of a run. I really do feel like we're gonna go on a bit of a run, and I believe our football club will. By the time next international break comes, I think we might be very close to that top in the Premier League, and we might be in a very good position in the Champions League as well. I'm believing in it. I'm hoping in it to the Almighty, and we need to make something special out of this season. So let's see what happens. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comments section, especially in regards to Enzo Maresca changing his agency to super agent Jorge Mendes. What do you think about that? What's your feeling about that? In the comments section, let me know. Smash up the like button if you're here for the first time. Subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.